check to see if they're still in the country.
Right.
All right. Let's say you have a murder and you believe the person is living in, the murderer is living in that condo. You didn't even go to check.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't go to check to see if he's there.
We were the only people
Or
that went trying to get
say, where were you on this date and time?
Yeah.
And so it's ridiculous.
Yep.
And so we are.
I think you guys are skipping a part here. I like what you're doing. I think it's great.
Thank you.
I think the part, the way law enforcement works is their whole job is to get you locked up. Their secondary job is to maybe get you some money back, but it almost never happens. But they basically spend their time working on getting you locked up. And the way they do that is with evidence and testimony and documents. And and so, you know, when you read indictments and you see the government doing good work shutting down evil dudes, you know, what they do is they get a sealed indictment. They kick everyone's doors down at the same time so that they can't hide and destroy evidence. They don't tell you ahead of time, which is why the indictment's secret. And then, you know, they see how much evidence they can grab so that if you're going to plea, you're going to get a worse deal plea because they got more evidence against you. Or if you're going to go to trial, hopefully, you know, if you're a bad guy, you lose your trial because they've got such a strong case. But having custody of the person doesn't actually give you evidence. And getting an arrest warrant doesn't get you evidence. And getting an extradition doesn't get you evidence. And so if you really want to see this guy do time or found guilty of his crimes, it's really all about the evidence. And it comes in written form, and it comes in testimonial form, or it comes in the form of confession. And that's about it. So I would be, personally, if you're looking for justice, it's really all about the evidence.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of evidence from many different sources. I know Lincoln here as well has a lot of evidence. I think something that people really need to understand as well is who are we giving evidence to? You know, we have evidence. People are sitting on evidence. Why? Are we going to give it to Gary Gensler? Is that who we're going to give it to? Or are we going to go give it to, you know, are we going to go give it to Kevin McCarthy? Is that who we're going to give it to? Who do we give the evidence to that's not involved in this? And I think that's the really interesting part here. We need to have, whether it's the Department of Justice or whether it is a politician, we need someone to rise up and be the galvanizer and the leader from the actual, you know, from the actual government itself to be able to start tying this thing together. Because I can only do so much. I can't arrest him. You know, I don't want to get arrested myself for, you know, detaining him. I'm not a bounty hunter, despite what the memes show on Twitter these days. Yeah, so I think that's what you're saying is really good, Richard. I think it's true.
Yeah, you'd hate for him to beat what I'm saying is, like, when you force him out of his house, he's probably got a lot of evidence sitting there. And if you force him to flee early, that could have been something where a nice kick the door down, you know, raid would have gotten something. But look, I don't know how it works in the third world, bro. Like, I don't really know whether they actually kick down doors and get evidence. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
And what's disappointing to a lot of us here in the Bahamas, a lot of us who are not corrupt, is that the government is now painting this narrative that we have to cover this whole thing up, that we shouldn't say anything about it because it's going to hurt the Bahamas. And you heard the Attorney General, you know, say basically the same thing today, that us, and now he added that even the international media, you know, should watch what they say about what's going on. You know, and it reminds me, and I said it in our interview earlier, it reminds me of, you know, when the Catholic Church, when a lot of boys were being raped and molested by priests in the Catholic Church, and they were saying, you know, cover it up, don't say anything because it's going to make God look bad, it's going to make the church look bad, and we should just cover it up, don't say anything about the pastor. And that's what they're doing now. They're trying to make it seem like it will be better for the Bahamas if we just side with any corruption that may have gone on and just cover this whole thing up. But I actually think that's going to make us look worse if we do that, because then it's going to look like all of our people are complicit and that we are corrupt as a people and that we shouldn't be trusted. I think it would be better if we investigate this thoroughly, and then investors like yourself, you would know in the future that, you know what, if something bad happens in the Bahamas, it's going to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Let's play. I have a good game for you.
Public.
Yeah, go
I have
ahead.
a good game for you.
Okay.
Here's what governments care about a lot of times, particularly smaller ones: money. You know who I think has the most money in the Bahamas? Deltec Bank. That supports USDT.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because I don't know if anybody watched my video today. We actually went to Deltec Bank today. Obviously, it's a Sunday, so we went to the first building, and it's completely empty, nobody there. But we talked to security there, and then there's a sign on the front that says they're being refurbished. And so we went to the actual Deltec building and talked to a security guard there, which is a 5-story building, and Deltec is on the 5th floor on the right when you get up out of the elevator. And we talked to the security there, and they said they will be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. So we are actually going to be going to Deltec Bank tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and trying to get answers from them as well.
So here's my best guess.
A disclosure, because you just watched the press statement by the Attorney General. He used to work for Deltec.
No way. No way. Get out of here.
He was in a previous government, and he just quit in the middle of the term, and he left, went to work for Deltec Bank. That's
what they were saying in the comments when they said he left us high and dry.
That's what they were talking about.
Well,
you were reading the comments.
I was reading the comments, yeah.
So, I'm not trying to throw shade on Deltec. I'm just saying that, like, we know FTX did about as bad as an entity can do. They just basically jacked everybody's money. I haven't heard claims of Deltec doing that. So what I'm saying is, like, if Deltec's profitable and they have political influence there, it's in their best interest to lean on their political context to clean up house, so it doesn't mess up their deal, because they have obviously got some kind of cool deal going. So I think you might be able to get more justice from Deltec's contacts than from law enforcement.
Well, I think that's good. And real quickly, for you to say something here was our narrative going to Deltec today. Our narrative today, especially when we showed up and the building was empty, which we'll be telling you a little bit more when we get to the United States about some of the stuff that we found there. But what I will tell you is that we were going with a narrative of wanting to be proven wrong. We wanted to go there and find out it's actually a bustling bank and that it looks good and there's no, people don't need to be worried, because everybody who's out here talking about that Deltec is insolvent or that Tether is going to collapse, none of those people are boots on the ground going and looking, okay? So when we went to the building and found out it was being refurbished, we felt better, like, okay, well, this is completely empty. Nobody's been here in a while, but we'll go to the other building. So we went to the other building, and we talked to the security guard, and they said, yeah, they got like 10 people there every day. So we're hoping tomorrow morning we're going to go there. They're going to talk to us. They're going to be transparent. We can bring up some of this stuff as well, and we can talk with them and let them maybe try to explain their part and how they can help clean up. Everybody knows, well, not everybody, but Alameda was the #1 holder of Tether. I think they had like 10% of the supply or something like that. They were the number one holder there. So there's a reason why they want to. We saw that. Yeah. So there's a reason why we want to go in there and talk to them. I think this is a good angle as well. So we'll let you go ahead, Lincoln.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on something. I think that we have to put pressure on this. We have to make sure that the investigation does not take place here in the Bahamas. The persons who are on the board of the Securities Commission are political appointees. And so if there is, I'm not saying there is, but if there is some, political, dirty hands in there, these appointees won't be able to go against the government that appointed them. And so this is a problem. And so they have new appointees that just, were put on board. I prefer for this to be investigated properly. Outside this country, our government is corrupt. They are corrupt terribly. My organization, we recently had a protest. I said the wrong thing. We didn't have a protest. We went to deliver some bills to the House of Assembly.
Yeah.
The government didn't want these bills delivered, and so they just, a police officer just attacked me.
Wow.
And next thing, I was arrested after being attacked. And so I can't talk about it because it turned into a case, but everyone looked at that and they were like, why wouldn't the government, why would the government in a democratic society do something like this?
Yeah.
What more democratic process do you have than to go to the House of Assembly to deliver a bill?
Right.
And so this is the kind of government that is now running, a government that wants to silence its people. They have bought out the media. They've given media owners positions as ambassadors to silence them. They have bought out reporters, given them jobs. And so, as you can see, no one is really putting pressure to them. No one is properly investigating this.
Well, we do have, what's interesting, we do have, and I meant to say this earlier, actually, we just had a meeting a little bit ago with a guy from the Netherlands who lives here and is a resident here now. And, they're about to file a gigantic criminal and civil lawsuit against SBF personally, to not just going through the corporate route. So there are people that are fighting here against this. That's going to be filed on Wednesday. That's a breaking announcement, by the way. We haven't disclosed that. We do have a video with them. I think we're going to put out at 9 a.m. in the morning if you guys want to check that out. But you want to talk about government corruption. The stuff he was telling us about what they're doing on the back end, absolutely terrifying. So
I mean, remember, it's not just SBF that does this. You had a lot of co-conspirators. They had a lot of time to do this. They built this up over years. You know, even when Enron failed, there's a story about this one guy that got out a little bit early, and he just got to keep all the money. So is that what happens with Trabuco? Like Trabuco got out a little bit early, so he gets to keep all the money. Is that what's up?
I don't know.
Like,
maybe somebody can go up to rural Maine and find him. I mean, they didn't think I was going to come down to the Bahamas and find SBF. So maybe Sam T's got something coming for him too.
And what's so crazy about one guy getting out early? I mean, he was, you know, he got away. He was innocent apparently. But now Jeff Schilling is now back out. He did his time, 12 years, and he's out. And that same one guy that got away is now trying to help Jeff Schilling get back into the same business.
Wow.
And
you can't have a better last name than Schilling.
I know, right? And so if FTX gets away with this, one, our reputation is going to be bad.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that Bahamians are not corrupt.
Yeah.
And we want what's best. Our politicians have been corrupt.
Yeah.
But they've kept us under certain handcuffs.
I got bad news for you guys. He's probably going to get away with this. Like, this is what it sounds like to me, dude. Like, the only way he's not going to get away with this is if someone hits him with like a really strong attack from a really harsh jurisdiction in the States. Like, I know someone, maybe New York's a good jurisdiction to do it from.
Well, Texas,
right?
Texas is coming after them for security stuff, I believe, if I remember correctly. Texas,
but technically, I don't think securities is the right angle to get teeth into this guy. Because like securities is not criminal. Guys, you cannot go to jail for securities. The Securities and Exchange Commission.
There is some crossover with the DOJ. If you
but they hand it off to the DOJ, so it's all about the DOJ. Like, if you want to put people in actual prison and deprive them of their freedom, it has to be a Department of Justice matter. And so, like, you know, look, they got what was his name, McAfee, to kill himself. They got enough extradition pressure on him that he ended up dead. So like, I think the right way to attack these criminals is with extradition, and you're only going to get that in a non-civil manner. It's going to have to be a criminal complaint, and I think the right angle is fraud, because fraud's illegal, and it doesn't have to do with securities at all. You know, this guy made a bunch of public statements on Twitter that he surreptitiously deleted by posting one thing, deleting a thing, posting a thing, deleting a thing. And so his typing happening out was just stealthing his deleting posts. Yep. So when his post where he said everything's okay, he deleted that. But then it doesn't show up in like the deletion detectors because he deleted it in short enough time when he posted a new thing that the detectors just look at like raw post count instead of post ID. So like, there's a lot of evidence of this guy saying one thing, doing another thing, and a lot of people in the United States being harmed over it. You know, it seems to me to be, no, look, I'm not a lawyer, but Lord knows I've read.
Richard, you could be anything you wanted to be.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Hey, Ben, can I hop on something with that Richard just said?
Yeah.
So just real quick.
Okay.
No, so just real quick, what Richard said, I think he's on point. So over a decade in DOJ, you need to find DOJ to put their teeth in this guy, right? Mm-hmm. Currently, there's no motion to extradite, but you need one. DOJ is going to have a stronger reach of tentacles with the marshals and all that, as opposed to a state. Now, why is DOJ a better opportunity for us? Because of wire fraud. You're going to have wire fraud, which is going to be interstate commerce, and you're going to have that from DOJ. The problem is when you look at the funds that I've looked at all week, when you look at the money from, you know, I don't want to go off on this tangent, but when you look at third world, you know, third parties, other countries funneling back to FTX being a major donor, what are the odds that Merrick Garland, a department I used to work for, what are the odds Merrick Garland is going to tee off and really have DOJ go after their second largest donor after George Soros?
Well, I think they're great because they know he's not getting no more money to him. I think they'll eat him instantly.
They're going to have to. He's toxic now, and I think what people have to understand.
He's not going to come back.
What's that?
He's toxic, but he's not going to come back. So I think if he makes it off, whether he stays down there, I've been listening to you and watching your video today. It seems like the Bahamian government's not going to do anything. So if he's off to Dubai, then it's hands off.
No, that's not actually true now.
Okay.
Just so everybody understands, with the extradition laws, I've been speaking with people in Dubai today. That is not true. If he gets over to Dubai, it is not a guarantee he stays there. Let me see if real quick I can pull up this text message this guy sent me earlier today about this and see exactly. Give me 1 second. And I do want to say also, like, I know we were talking about the Bahamian government and how there certainly is, some stuff that's going on here that's not good with some of the corrupt players in the game. The fact is, the reason why I'm here with Lincoln right now, and the reason why I was able to get into the Albany, the reason why we were able to get access to figure out what was going on through security at some of these places is because we've seen the honest and hardworking and good people in the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. Every person we've met has been great, from the cab drivers to the dealers at the casino to the security, even our guy Brian. Even our guy Brian that kicked us out of the Albany, he was a good guy. He was just trying to do his job. Like, his job is to not allow people to disrupt there. And every person we met here has been really great, and they've been really concerned. And I did want to say that. Let me see if I can find. If y'all want to keep talking, I'm gonna have to dig through and see if I can find this, and I'll talk to you guys about the Dubai extradition.
Yeah, in order to be extradited from Dubai, they're gonna have to have the same law in Dubai as they have for him to be extradited.
Got it.
You have to determine where he committed the crime. There's definitely no extradition treaty between them and us. And if they don't have a DARE Act where he committed the crime, then you're gonna have a problem.
Got it.
But you have to have the same parallel crime in both countries, not just a treaty. All right, so that's where the problem.
Well, I tell you, I just got a message from somebody that lives in Dubai that's been involved or that has residence there, and he just told me just now. He said Sam has caused major damage to over-the-counter companies in Dubai, and they will not harbor him. And in addition, FTX and Alameda were doing the same thing in Dubai with customer funds that they were doing here, funneling money through real estate. So.
Actually, in Dubai, there's debtor's prison. So if you owe people money there, you go to jail and stay in jail. So there's a chance SBF owes too much money to people over there, and they might lock them up harder. It's possible.
Yeah. Now Hong Kong, I don't know. Maybe Hong Kong seems to be a safe haven for him as well. That's where I would probably expect for him to potentially go.
Can I make a quick announcement?
Yeah.
If anyone's watching on YouTube, they can also get better audio by listening to Twitter.
Yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, the audio isn't great because we're a little further away from the camera or from the phone. So if you guys want to come over to Twitter Spaces and listen to the audio there, it's kind of like when I'm watching a baseball game. I always make sure I turn on the radio for our Atlanta local guys because the national guys always suck. Everybody knows that, they like sports ball. So there we go. I can't find this right now. I'll have to look for it later, but if anybody else in the Twitter space have any questions, we got a few people that are speakers in here that wanted to talk, and we can add some more down the road here.
Hey Ben, so everybody wants to know when FTX or what's going on with FTX, but no one's asking how's Ben doing. How are you doing out there?
Well, I'm doing good, guys. I know a lot of people are concerned about my safety, and a lot of people are, they're saying we're pushing too far. And guys, it's not like that here. Just so you know, and I talked to Lincoln a little bit about it. Guys, they're very sensitive to international media over here, and that's what we are at this point. People think, oh, you're a YouTuber. We got about 5 million people that follow us all together. Before they took our TikTok account, it was even more than that, like 7 million. And the fact is, like, they don't want an international story about something that happens to a YouTuber who's down here in the Bahamas. So there's certainly been a death threat that we've been given from someone. But we can't really, it's a long story. We won't want to get too much into it because it puts one of our sources in jeopardy. But we have gotten some death threats, but guys, I'm not scared. This is a God-given mission we're on down here. I don't know if people have picked up on this. This does not end when the video turns off. We've been down here investigating all weekend long. We're going to do more. Like, we are not, I need everybody to understand me and understand me clearly. I will not stop until this man is in custody. Period. If I got to go the rest of my life with Sam Bankman-Fried being my arch nemesis until this guy is in prison and irrelevant, then that's what I'm going to do.
I appreciate that, and
Thank you.
we've had discussions in the past that at one point I wasn't a fan of yours, but
Yeah.
seeing everything you've gone through recently and everything you're doing for the space,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that, and it's changed a lot, and I think the same can be said for a lot of other people. So thank you again.
Appreciate that. Thank you for the support.
I think another thing to think about is, as fun as it is to do like justice porn, all you guys that are wrecked, you're going to stay wrecked. And so you really need to like peel out some time and think about how you're going to play the bull market when it comes, and it will come. So as soon as, Fed pivots, maybe, I mean, within a month or 3 months, it could be the end of the bear, man. You don't know. Like we get a wick down to these targets, 10K BTC, 300, $600 Ethereum, and like, yo, man, pretty good entry, Well, look, I got a coin too. You guys probably already know my coin.
Go on, Richard. You can't go out here selling your coin. It's okay. We love you, Richard. I love Richard. He did it.
I'm just saying we could get people rich, but just getting this dude in jail is not actually it's not gonna pay us that much.
Well, there is certainly a. This is kind of the way I look at it. I look at it like what we're doing is we're weeding bad actors out of the space, and when we constantly go through these Bitcoin cycles, I mean, people laughed at me, and they also laughed at Richard when we said Bitcoin was going in between 10 and 14K. Now, Richard said it was going down a little bit before I did. I'll give him credit, okay? But the fact is, he's been talking about 11K. I've been talking about 10 to 14K. I think there's a chance the bottom could be in now. I've said there's a 50-50 is what I believe, depending on what happens with some of the Genesis markets and stuff like that. But the fact is, what people have to understand is where this really pays off, weeding these bad actors out of the space, is every cycle we go 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. If we can just move to a place where we're moving 3 steps forward and 1 step back instead of having to basically burn crypto down from the inside every time we have a bull market, then I think overall everyone that believes in the long term of this will be much better off. So, I do think thinking about where you're going to position yourself in crypto, because just like Lincoln said, this is about FTX.
I think it's funny. It's like Gemini is New York licensed, right? That's like, oh, okay, we're all as up above board as we can. And they get all their users wrecked with this lending crap that I've been warning about for years. So they were using, Gemini was using Genesis as their back end, and Genesis gets bankrupted. So you're like, okay. So you're NY, DFS licensed, and you still got your users wrecked. So I guess you didn't think that through.
Well, let me say something on that, because if you think about the first thing that they said, that the Bahamian Attorney General, the first thing he said was that they froze the money for the companies right away, for the companies. Keyword is companies. They didn't freeze the money for the people. The people are completely fucked. Same thing with the Genesis thing. It's like, dude, we learn from Web 2 and all the other bullshit we've dealt with, all the time, all this fraud and all this corruptness. And Web 3 is supposed to be different. We're supposed to build it right. And we have another chance to do it. So we can't let it be corrupt like it was before. There should be a crypto FDIC by the people, though, so everybody's money is secured and protected. So when some shit happens, it collapses, everybody's safe, instead of having to deal with, oh shit, there goes Luna, oh shit, there goes AC3 and all these people, and here they are. And the thing is, BitBoy is like, we appreciate it. You're a legend. You went out there, you actually pulled up on these people. I think some of my homeboys from the gangs in LA wouldn't even have pulled up like you did. Pretty gangster. And honestly, man, I wish I was there with you. I fit in small luggage, so next time you go out there, I'll be out there with you.
Well, bro, the thing about it is everybody's here with us. Like whether or not you can actually come down to the Bahamas and make a difference, the fact that y'all are listening and you're all following the story and y'all are watching it, like this is a crypto mission. This is not a BitBoy mission. I'm down here for y'all. Like I'm here for the people. I didn't even, somebody put out, oh, BitBoy got paid $1 billion from Alan Madoff. I ain't never talked to them people in my life. Okay, Sam won't even talk to me now. I've been sending him a text. He won't even respond. The fact is, I didn't lose $1 on FTX, not $1. But this man has so royally screwed the vision of what crypto is supposed to be. If we don't make a freaking stand, it's gonna happen again, and we're not gonna let that happen. And this is all of us together. I just happen to be one of the best looking people in crypto, and that's why I was able to come down here and do this.
Bro, I know how to get them. I know how to get SBF, bro. I know how to get them.
You don't want this to happen again in crypto, and we don't want this to happen again in our country.
Absolutely.
Every time this government comes to power, we get embarrassed internationally, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And now it's really bad. But I want to say to all of the people, all of my viewers, that don't give up on crypto, because FTX is not crypto.
Yep.
FTX is not crypto. FTX is an exchange. So it's like, to give an example, it's like Bank of America shuts down for some reason. It doesn't mean that money is all of a sudden bad, or that the banking industry is bad. It's just one player in the game that went down. So crypto is not FTX. They could have sold whatever they wanted on their platform. And I also want you to know that if you understand trading, there's support and resistance. Support means the lowest the market will go, and resistance means the highest before it gets pushed back down. The deeper it goes, the higher it bounces back up.
Yep.
All right? And that's how the markets work. The deeper it goes, so if as low as it goes right now, it's going to bounce back up. You remember when crypto was down to 3,000?
Oh, I remember. I was there.
That's when I got in.
Nice.
And it went down it went there from about 19,000. And so it went down to 3,000 and it bounced up to 60,000. All right? And so there's nothing to worry about. Crypto is going to work itself out, and no one and nothing can stop crypto.
Love it.
Ben, if you buy all the vegetables on the island, he will come to you, bro. Life or death situation for him.
Let's buy all the vegetables. This man will have no choice. Do y'all have tofu and soy here?
Of course we do.
Well, dang right. Somebody, let's start a GoFundMe for buying all the tofu and soy, and let's make it so Sam can't eat.
Just starve him out. Hey, Ben, Ben, you guys were going through in the beginning, like all the different properties that you know, they either purchased through shell corps or whatever. Is there any estimate on like the total value of those assets, and or like any assets that like they know that these guys squeaked out that are still sitting in crypto?
Well, they're getting new information every day. Right now, the number we have combined, or we have compiled, is $138.484 million. So almost about 138.5 million. But there's more coming in every day, and we're finding more and more of these companies. This doesn't even have Alameda Holdings on it.
No.
This doesn't even have the Alameda Holdings. It is probably closer to $500 million at least, I would say.
Right. So we're told it's about 300 million. It may end up being about $500 million. But right now we have actual documents in our hand for about $140 million worth.
Now, and also keep in mind what I was just told on a text message here a little bit ago from someone who a lot of this information came from and evidence came from, which is they've done the same thing in Dubai. So this is just properties that have registered only here in the Bahamas. Grasp that. There's a chance this overall number could be closer to $1 billion around the world.
It could.
I just hope that everyone that's owed money actually gets to share in that instead of just the secured creditors.
Numbers on the screen.
Okay, go ahead. Who is that? Was that Richard again?
I was just saying, look, the more money that shows up, it's only better if it actually goes to the unsecured creditors.
Correct.
If all the plebs that deposited are unsecured creditors, which they usually are.
Yeah. Well, there's a process to the bankruptcy, and a lot of people know there's a process to some more of this. I mean, there's FTX. If it's proven that FTX had complete wrongdoing and counterfeiting and broke laws when it comes to many of the projects that they had listed, including we know they did it to Reef, we know they did it to New Genesis through Liquid, we know they did it to Celsius, where the guy with the smoking gun just will not speak. He was on the board of FTX, so we know he has it. I'm not trying to dox that guy, but we're just waiting for the smoking gun on some of this stuff. And it's there, it exists. And if some of these companies are able to prove too, like they kind of move up on the list of who could potentially be getting money from FTX as well. I think here's the important thing for FTX users to understand. And I really hate to tell you this, unless they're able to recover a bunch of money that's floating out there in assets like real estate, it's going to be much harder for people on FTX to get money back than anywhere else, because the insolvency hole is so much bigger. It's like 95%.
Hey, Ben, Forza here. Really quick, we have some breaking news. SBF is retweeting. It seems to be a lot of propaganda related to, I think, some of your efforts down there. So if you want to head over to his page.
Why can't he has me blocked?
Okay, so
just hit Control-Shift-T.
Oh, here, let me text him. I'll text him right now.
You can browse them if you hit Control-Shift-T. Also, guys, You know,
is this Twitter?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm right now. I literally have his phone number. Bro, why you propaganda in me? That's what I'm gonna say. He reads them too. I get the red receipts.
Oh, that's
This is Sam. Yeah, I got his phone number if you want it. I got it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to give it out on stream because as bad of a person he is, and as much as I want to shave his head, I'm not going to dox his phone number out here, which maybe somebody else can leak it. I know when I asked for it, about 19 people sent it to me. So this phone number floats out there pretty easy.
yeah, but don't spam up what law enforcement will need to capture later. Like, leave it with less data for them to sort through.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was going to say, you know, when people talk about how bad Bernie Madoff was, they don't realize that 85% of the money was recovered.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you,
that's good.
You're not going to get 8.5% out of this deal.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him to unblock me so I can see. Unblock me so I can see. Sam, this guy doesn't understand that I'm not going to let him go. I'm like a bulldog. He doesn't realize this. But the poor guy. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Anybody else have any? Yeah, we got some word. He's retweeting some stuff. He's, Sam.
He's retweeting people talking about the Attorney General's address, and he retweeted a couple of quotes about how, the Bahamas will be held in high esteem whenever it's wound down.
Yeah. Sam, it's going to be held in high esteem when you're not here anymore. That's what it's going to be. All right. Anybody else? People got some more questions? I guess we're here.
I think the Bahamas is going to do fine. I think you guys will get more tourism out of this just from getting more name drops in the popular media, and I think you'll probably make more money too because some otherwise half shady guys will think they could do it better and come and start businesses. So I think Bahamas is going to win on this both ways.
I agree with that. I love the Bahamas. I've had a great time here. I've only been here once before, and I lost money at the casino. This time I won money. Did y'all know that people in the Bahamas are not, like residents of the Bahamas are not, let me rephrase that. Bahamian citizens are not allowed to gamble in the casinos here. Did y'all know that? I found that out from my guy Lincoln here. It's crazy. All right,
Sounds genius.
We're suffering from economic apartheid, and we're not allowed to gamble in the casinos. We're not allowed to own the casinos, even though it is our #1 industry. And this is some of the things that we want to fight. So if I go to the casino with Ben tonight, he can gamble, but I can't gamble because I'm Bahamian. And so my only crime would be being a Bahamian.
Yeah.
And
who's allowed to own it?
Allow this.
Who's allowed to own the casinos? Who's allowed to own them?
Foreigners.
Only foreigners. Yep. So
that's insane.
Richard, are you ready? You and me. Let's open it up. Let's open up the new casino down here, and let's.
I hate gambling, dude. I would tell everyone to never gamble.
Well, I'm good at it, so I don't know what to say for you, Richard.
Wait. You said you lost money last time.
Yeah, I did, but I made like $5,000 last night in blackjack. Don't tell the government. That was a joke. But I did. I won like $5,000 playing blackjack last night. I don't even like blackjack that much, but when you got the winning streak, so much winning lately. I'm just getting tired of winning. You know what I mean? When SBF goes to prison, it's going to be real nice. So we got who else we got in here? We've got David. What's going on? We got David. We got the guy with the weirdest name in all of cryptosexual in here. So you guys have any points you guys want to add?
Did you touch on what's going on, Ben? What's going on, Rich?
What's up, man?
You guys seen that the AG actually he actually worked for or could have worked for Tether? I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, for Deltec. Yeah, that's he left. We were talking about that earlier. He left in the middle of a term and we worked at Deltec.
He was in the government, and in the middle of his term, he left the cabinet and got a job at Deltec. Okay, and he just abandoned us. And so a lot of people were typing about that. And so we have a caller on our end, so we'll take this call.
Okay, we're going to call. I'm dancing.
Good afternoon, you're live.
Yeah, Mr. Lincoln, how you doing?
I am awesome, you're live.
Could we not take this to a referendum with the people requiring for Sam Bankman to be extradited from the country?
No, you go to referendums for laws, and you're not going to get this government because they are attached to this whole thing because they have political cronies with shares in FTX. You're not going to get them to do a referendum.
And so, how in effect can we, I guess the man is correct, fraud would be the right way to go after him to establish a criminal link that he would be able to be extradited out of the country.
We need him out of the Bahamas so that he can get prosecuted properly. He's not going to be, in our opinion, prosecuted properly in the Bahamas?
Well, we also know that we're also pushing for a change in this government. So with all of that going on at the same time.
What change do you want in the government?
Well, this government is intrinsically evil. That's the PLP in the acronym. They can't help it. They stumble over it. They fall in it. It hits them in the face all the time. So the process is for us now, we got to start with somebody clean, somebody on the outside looking in to establish what all is correct and what is not. They're so tied up with stuff that you can't get to do anything.
So who do you want to see govern the country that is not corrupt?
Say again, sir?
Who do you want to see govern the country that is not corrupt?
Right now, you're doing what you're supposed to do. That's what a leader does. He goes to the problems, he solves problems, he sees what the people is talking about.
So you want me and the COI to govern the country?
Correct.
Thank you, man. We appreciate your endorsement.
All right, sir.
All right, thank you, man.
I'll let y'all go.
All right, thank you, man. All right, and we will end corruption.
Yeah.
And we will have a Bahamas where, you know, everyone can operate without the corruption, without paying off anybody, and we can benefit from our natural resources. That's it.
Ben, isn't that conference on the 30th coming up in New York? Is he just going to be FaceTiming in for that, or is he going to actually?
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way he steps on American soil. He won't even leave his apartment. You know, he won't even leave. There are rumors that he has already been shuffled somewhere else here in the Bahamas. As you know, I mean, there's a zillion different properties that they own, but I think at the end of the day, there's 0% chance that he goes. And let me tell you guys, this Andrew Ross Sorkin, he's a bad actor. I know this for a fact. I have spoken with people that have worked with him. He is a bad actor. He literally lies in his articles, and this is a well-known open secret with the New York Times and with all the media that they touch. Okay, so the fact he works for Goldman Sachs. Okay, with the bankers, Andrew Ross Sorkin is a paid lackey for the bankers. So no one needs to watch that. We need to make Andrew Ross Sorkin understand that traditional media is dead. The New York Times has no power, and that going forward, the power of the people is in social media with free speech on Twitter. That's where it is. And so we don't need to give any credibility if this. Now, I actually do not believe he's going to speak there. I don't even think virtually. I think there's going to be so much backlash against him in the next 3 days and against the New York Times for this that I think they're going to end up putting him down there. You know, just like old Yeller. So I don't think he's going to speak, but if he does, then we definitely have to make sure that you know, people in crypto don't support that. So we got another caller here on his stream.
We're going to go to the phone lines again. Oh, I think we missed them. You can call back in.
Yeah, call back.
Accidentally hung you up.
Yeah.
So Bahamian, you can call us 804-4264.
Okay, go ahead with the question.
I got a question here from the chat. It's from Shane BTC69. Do you see the FTX collapse creating a better or worse outcome for crypto and the migration to DeFi? Talk about the political fallout of all of this. How far back does this set the industry? Do you see this as a Trojan horse attack to displace the industry and ring fence it among the legacy financial institutions?
Yeah, no, it's better. He was trying to kill DeFi. He was literally getting laws made to kill DeFi. He was trying to kill the thing that would have saved his users.
Yeah, we told people that for 5 weeks before it came out, and people laughed at us. For 5 weeks, I told people that this was coming, and everybody's like, "No, Sam Bankman-Fried's so great. Look at his great haircut." No, bud. You know, he's a bad vegan. Okay, just kind of like that one crazy girl from New York. But the fact is that I agree with Richard. He was trying to destroy DeFi, and going forward, there has never been a better commercial for decentralization than what we have just seen from Sam Bankman-Fried. So in his attempt to try to destroy peer-to-peer and try to destroy decentralization, he made it like a neon sign for everybody to look at like, oh, no, actually, that's right. We forget it's traditional finance and exchanges and centralization that is the problem. And I also want to say, when it comes to, you know, the first or the second part of this question was this a Trojan horse to bring in regulation? No, guys, this was not a Trojan horse. This was a system that was set up that was not supposed to be blown up overnight. The reason why this is such a big story is because we were working with NBC News. CoinDesk puts out an article. And also you had CZ, those three things, because basically once CZ put out the article, we were able to work with our NBC reporter to put out what a lot of the evidence that we already had exposing this. All three of these things together blew this thing up. The politicians, the Ukrainian aid, that we haven't even gotten into that whole aspect of this. None of that was supposed to be uncovered overnight. And it all got uncovered overnight. And all of these politicians have so much egg on their face, they don't know what to do. We're just still trying to figure out the relationship between FTX, Republicans, Democrats, and who is on whose side. We just got the news about Kevin McCarthy coming out last week. We thought he was probably in the clear on the Republican side. He was paid by FTX to stop Republicans from winning his own party. So this is so much more complicated than just a Democrat versus Republican issue. And everybody wants to portray it like, oh, the Democrats got all the money, and certainly Joe Biden was the biggest donor. Sam was the number 2 donor to Joe Biden, obviously, SBF was. But the fact is, it's much more corrupt and widespread than that. You do not see a scandal of corruption of this proportion just come out on accident, or excuse me, you only see this kind of thing come out on accident. So Sam, where the regulation was coming in, Sam was meeting with Gary Gensler for 6 months. That was the Trojan horse. Sam was the Trojan horse. And we've actually weeded him out. And a lot of people know that we have a bill. I will go and throw out another tweet with our policy Discord where people can come support our bill and check out what we're doing. Because what we're doing solves all this problem. It's the exact opposite of what SBF was trying to do. And when this comes out, people are going to be in support of it. And I listen to all these people saying like, oh, crypto's screwed now. Crypto's screwed. The regulation's coming in. Not with our bill. Our bill fixes everything. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect because we're having to bring in regulation. But when people see what we're doing, people in crypto are going to get behind it 100%. Well, I don't know. I guess there's 4% of people that think Sam's a good guy. So maybe those 4% we rule out. 96% of people in crypto are going to support what we're doing. And I believe that what bill we have is going to go in as an amendment for the Boozman bill. It is going to be passed. We have bipartisan support. We have huge political backers on both sides. And people are going to find we're not as screwed as regulation as you think we are. Our roadmap with obstacles just got so much more clear because SBF is now out of our way. He purposely, how all this started between me and him, he tried to sabotage our bill. So I guess, when I told him to get ready, he didn't know what was coming. But, he's out of our way now. So we want to go to this caller over here?
I think we just missed everything.
Sorry. I want to finish my point.
I just want to say something because I want to share my screen for those who are on my platform watching this. I am now even more concerned with, I went on Twitter and I can see what Sam did. He retweeted what the Attorney General said. He retweeted his press conference.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever see someone who is accused of things retweeting the DOJ or the lawmakers. It's almost as if you're working together and you're promoting what he said. That's very strange to me.
That is weird. Yeah, you're the target.
Has
you're
he given
the target
that kind of money?
I've never seen that.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. What was the question here?
I was going to say, is there any way to find a connection if he's given that kind of money? I mean, it seems like, to what you guys said earlier, it's like clearly, like the people who are in government in the Bahamas, I don't think their intentions like, oh, we don't want the Bahamas to look bad. I think they don't want themselves to look bad by prosecuting him, just like some of these establishment people in the U.S.
That's it. Who is Mario Newfall?
He's a guy that does a lot of Twitter Spaces. Yeah. Why? What do you think about that guy? I'm not going to make a comment on him.
No. I think we need to. I just want to know who he was because he's also with the
San Mario.
Yes.
Okay.
But Mario is quoting the Attorney General.
He's quoting the Attorney General, and then SBF is retweeting Mario, which is really interesting. So, and I think did Mario
to
the Bahamas? I think. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in comparison to Mario Spaces, you're bringing a lot more info. And one of the reasons I'm up here is because I got rugged at, Mount Gox back in the day. So I've been around the block for a long time. And I know how important it is for people to actually understand how these things work. And here's my point to this whole your space versus his space. We got almost 7,000 people in here. And if you look at the number of retweets, it's less than 300. That's the number one thing that we got to change right now. So if anybody's listening to this, share with your community. Let people know what's actually going on. Let them hear this, because it does go a long way into getting, this whole understanding that crypto is not bad. There are some bad players, but crypto is not bad.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, certainly if people want to share this space and people want to get this information out here, then that's great. That's not why I do this. We're not down here doing this for clicks. We're not doing this so we get the most people in our Twitter spaces. We're the only people down here with boots on the ground that are giving you answers. And if people appreciate that, then they'll appreciate it and they'll get in. If people still want to hate on me or say, like somebody, you're what are you doing? You're just tweeting. You're not even doing anything down there. Like, open your eyes. So, I think when people realize like who the real champion of crypto, and I don't mean champion like the greatest, I mean like the person championing the cause for crypto is, that we're not talking, we are doing it, we are making actions. And I go right back to what we said earlier. This is a bit squad. This is a crypto community. This is more than just, it's the actions of everybody that's helping here is why we're able to do what we're doing. So we have another comment.
Go to the phone lines.
Okay, go ahead. Another phone question here.
Good evening, you're live. Good night.
Hello.
How do we get the Prime Minister not to use our sovereign wealth fund in places like the stock market or FTX and give it to the Bahamian people, our sovereign welfare fund? And thank you.
All right, thank you. So I think the international community needs to know that the Bahamas was going into carbon credits. It was something our party championed to go into carbon credits, but the government, it was for Bahamians to benefit from it. Our government does not want our Bahamian people to benefit from anything. So they said that they were actually going to give all of our carbon credits, which they say is worth billions, they were going to give it over to Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. And they were going to give it to him. And then he was going to be able to use these carbon credits to have a real asset in his company. And so we believe that that was a part of the scheme. And so they were stealing our carbon credits to give it to him.
My gosh.
And that is scandalous. And they had already announced that, and they were supposed to start in December. They had already tabled a bill to be able to do that, to give our natural resources and our carbon credits to a private company. And that's what they were doing with Sam Bankman-Fried. It was going to be the crime of the century, but it was foiled because they couldn't get it done in time. And so what we need to
now that's important. That's important because the whole game for Sam and FTX was trying to fake it till you make it. And when you start factoring in these credits that were going to start coming in, our whole play was to stop them from purchasing Voyager. Like we had a timeline before CoinDesk, before CZ did all that. By the end of November, we had to have this out because the acquisition was supposed to go through in the middle of December. And we were trying to block that. But now you're saying these ESG, these carbon credits, were another aspect of this that could have possibly helped them catch up on that insolvency hole.
Yes.
Wow.
And so they were the plan was to use that and steal it away from the Bahamian people. And so our government is totally ignoring that at this time. But we feel that was a crime of the century. So the caller asks, how do we stop them from doing it? They have already took away our Sovereign Wealth Fund Act, which could have allowed Bahamians to benefit from all of our natural resources. We have amazing natural resources here. We have sand. Everything needs sand. You can't build without sand. Paint is made from sand. Sand is the number one used natural resource other than water.
Yeah.
All right. And so we have more sand than anyone in the world.
Do you really?
Yes. This is Bahamas, man.
More than anyone in the world?
We have more sand, usable sand. Like
usable sand.
The deserts have sand, but they can't use that.
Yeah, wow.
You see, because the sand is too smooth. You can't use it. Our sand can be used.
This is alpha right here, guys. You guys are getting alpha about sand right here.
Yeah. And so sand is the number one natural resource. They use it for almost everything.
Yeah.
We have aragonite. We have limestone. They take billions of dollars worth of limestone from the Bahamas. And so what we want, this is why I said we're going to be the Dubai of this region.
Yeah.
Dubai lets their people benefit from their oil, their natural gas. We are going to do the same thing. Our natural resources are valuable, but we're not using it to that level. And so we want the international community to see what we want. We want to share our natural resources and benefit from it. And that is what we are for.
Funny fact, there's a a lending crypto platform called Sand. That's token is hashtag Sand that it's freezed all deposits last week, I think.
No, this is not Sandbox.
No, actually, it's an actual lending platform called, or no, it's called Salt. My
Salt.
bad,
Okay,
Salt. My bad.
But there's also a token.
Yeah, but Sandbox is different. I like Sandbox. I know Richard hates everything but Hex, but
in Bahamas we have
Sand dollars.
Digital currency is called Sand Dollar.
Got it. Okay. Wow, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that's
I like Ethereum with 2 Fs.
You like Ethereum with 2 Fs?
I like Ethereum. I think I was trolling. It's just a funny way to misspell it. I think Ethereum's a nice project.
Oh, well, there you go. How about that? What about Cardano? Do you like Cardano because you and Charles are supposed to have a debate one day, and I'm going to try to make it happen?
I mean, I would love to have it. I think we agree on a lot of stuff.
I agree.
I think you would agree with a lot of the stuff that he thinks too. I just look back before he had launched and he had vaporware for a few years. I was like, hey, what's going on? But now that I've got my own vaporware for a year, I'm a little more chill about it.
There you go. Well, we have news. Breaking news. What's breaking news?
3O DAO in response to what we're doing is just officially submitted a snapshot of the proposal. They put together DAO to fund us to the tune of $1 million.
They voted on it. It's good.
If they're voting now.
So 3O DAO is a DAO that is voting to possibly pledge $1 million to our bill, to our 501c3 or 501c4, our 501c4 to help with our bill. So that would be amazing. If that gets voted in, if you're part of 3O DAO and that gets voted yes, that means, Ryan, what would timeline for us making the bill public be?
Once the initial funding comes in, we would be able to move on this within 30 days.
Within 30 days, it would be public. So there you go. For you guys that are interested in what we're doing, and a lot of people know Richard. I've sent it to Richard. I know Richard knows what it is. But okay, all right. So let's move on. Anybody more questions? I guess I know a lot of people have questions. At some point I have to go do something different. So maybe we'll do about 45 more minutes.
Hey, I'll leave you guys space, man. I'll hop off and leave you guys space. I really appreciate you having me on, Ben. I'm glad to see you pushing legal and trying to find justice by creating new, better laws and by trying to put evil bastards in jail.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for that.
Hey, for the guys on YouTube, if you're not following Ben on Twitter or me on Twitter, we're good follows over there.
For sure. Yeah. Wait, Richard, why are you not following me on Twitter?
Dude, I literally only follow Hex Maximalists because every time someone posts like a chart I don't agree with, I unfollow. Or if someone posts any altcoin, I unfollow. I'm really like Richard Hart product maximalist only.
Whether they think you should follow me back or not.
I don't follow Vitalik. I don't follow nobody. I literally just follow RH Max.
Friends, bro.
I know. We are actual friends. Everyone, Ben and I are friends.
Thank you.
He's one of my better friends. I don't follow.
Me. I love you so.
All right. Talk to you later, guys.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Richard. Okay, all right. More people in space. If people want to ask some questions, we'll
go. Ben, Cryptosexual here. I thought I'd jump in.
There he is.
Hey, buddy. Hey, first of all, I do have a question, but let me just start. I'm going to pick up on what you were saying earlier. You're the only person right now in the space that displays the passion and the tenacity to clean up the crypto mafia.
Thank you.
Right, and anyone who wants to fault you for anything where you may have been wrong or a little off before, they're not being fair, because you can't be in the space for as long as you are or have been on air, all those broadcasts, and be right on everything all the time. It's just impossible. And your position constantly evolves. You do the best with the information you have on hand. And even if you didn't get it right, you stick around and you do the research. I've worked with your team. I've given them information on SBF, and they listened, and you guys listened, and you did something with it. And I want to thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. We try to be open, and you're right. Like, nobody in this space is without a sin. And what I mean, it doesn't have to be where it was intentional. It's a new developing space, and sometimes you think you're doing the right thing, and you really are trying to do things with good intentions, and it blows up in your face. The important thing is, do you grow? Do you mature? And what you see is you have basically two kinds of people that come into the space that get really big. Some people, they get really big and they make money and they leave and they want to retire and they don't really care. You have other people that get big in the space and they continue to mature and continue to grow because they care about ideals much more bigger than themselves or their brand or what's happening. And you really right now, especially in this bear market, are starting to see the difference between the two. So thank you for all those kind of words. We certainly appreciate all of the information you've been sending us.
So my question for you is, once we get through this cleansing phase,
Yeah.
Are you going to help the crypto communities like Voyager and like Celsius? You know, I'm really close with Celsius.
Right.
Are you going to help us rebuild the space and make it better for everybody so we can bring new people back into the space?
Yeah, well, I think it's really important to understand that is a tricky situation. I think first I would say the number one thing we're going to really start pushing for is how can we assist these platforms, not because we like Alex Mashinsky or we like part of the team there at Celsius, or we're pushing to try to help solve some of these problems for the users, right? So I don't want anybody to get confused. If I'm coming out for Celsius and I'm trying to figure out ways to help bridge those solvency gaps, or to look for evidence that might lead to involvement from other players that you didn't know was involved in that, it's for the users. That's what we're going for. Voyager, my father-in-law lost a ton of money on Voyager. So the first thing we have to focus on is continuing to see what happens with these reorganizations, with these structures, with these, make sure the good actors are trying to acquire them if they do get acquired. And I'm not making a statement on any specific person regarding that. I'm just saying that in general. That is the move. Once we know what the step forward is for these platforms, there is a balancing act of making sure that we are trying to create common sense not regulation in the right word, common sense standards for some of these third-party platforms to where people don't get totally wrecked. And we as influencers have to do a better job of communicating and preaching the fact, not your keys, not your crypto. You can have a percentage of your portfolio that you want to put on that stuff, but personally, like, it's hard for me to ever come out and say, like, hey, it's a great idea to put money on third-party sites now. I think where we can really have some success is when people are able to figure out how to use third-party platforms in a decentralized way to where they're not having to give up their keys. I don't even know how that happens or how that works. But in general, we have to build up the intelligence and education level and confidence and security of people in crypto to where they understand if they are going to use a lending platform, we're always going to suggest using on-chain. But at the same time, like, if they're going to do that, it needs to be a percentage of their portfolio that, like, they're comfortable losing. And that's just a fact until we get solutions. So we're talking about rebuilding the space and rebuilding these platforms. We have to rebuild them in a way that, like, I can confidently come out and say, like, hey, yeah, it's totally fine to put your money on this platform. How long do you think that's going to be? Like, I don't have any confidence to say that about any platform right now.
It's a process. It's definitely going to be a process, right?
Yeah.
But thanks for all your hard work on that.
Thank you. We're going to be fighting for the users of these platforms for sure. So obviously right now this has a lot of my attention, but Celsius, obviously we have a lot of money on Celsius. And just so everybody understands, we are very potentially going to take a deal with an attorney where they're going to buy our Celsius claim for a certain percentage on the dollar, which if you guys have talked, if you have a big account, you've talked to people, like, we're not getting a higher percentage than anybody else that might be offering a payout. We would rather have the liquidity now. Even after we get paid out on Celsius, we're going to keep fighting for Celsius. This isn't about the money that we lost on Celsius. This is about the users. Voyager is about the users. I could really care less about Three Arrows Capital, to be honest with you. I don't care about a venture capital firm. They can go screw off anyways. I didn't like them anyways. I don't know how your average retail investor did not lose on Three Arrows Capital outside of if they had money tied up into something that it affected. So Suzu, I don't even know the guy. I don't care. But Voyager, Celsius, and FTX, we're trying to give these people back as much money as they can.